International Epilepsy Day is celebrated on the second Monday of every February. This year's theme is making epilepsy a national health priority. Take a look at that story.
My name is Frederic Baiwuchi. I'm an epilepsy awareness activist based in Kenya. I'm also currently the National Secretary of the National Epilepsy Coordination Committee. I have been so passionate about epilepsy awareness for the last 8 years, and this has been greatly inspired by being a caregiver of our last born sister. Her name is Mercy. She is now 14 years old and she was diagnosed with epilepsy at the age of 2 years.
International Epilepsy Day is a special event celebrated annually on the second Monday of February to promote awareness about epilepsy in more than 130 countries. In connection to this, Frederic Baiwuchi, a Kenyan epilepsy activist and the National Secretary for the National Coordination Committee, in conjunction with the Foundation for People with Epilepsy, FPE, organized an event on the 6th of February 2021 to launch his documentary termed Beuchi's Mount Kilimanjaro Epilepsy Awareness Documentary. On the 8th of February, when the actual Epilepsy Day is marked, the UAP Old Mutual Tower was lit purple in solidarity with the people with epilepsy.
And then we had an opportunity to light up the UAP Old Mutual Tower purple, again in support for people living with epilepsy, as one way of also creating awareness across the nation. Apparently, it's one of the tallest buildings, so it creates a lot of attention once it's lit purple.
Beuchi has been tirelessly raising awareness about epilepsy ever since his younger sister was diagnosed with the condition.
I'm a beneficiary of the Angaza Kifafa campaign that has largely been supported by Bank of Africa. In 2013, I left working in a shipping agency to go take care of my sister. That was 2012. And then in that process of trying to take care of my sister, in 2013, towards the end, taking care of my sister meant I was going to also help my mom do the house chores every day, so that when the sister wakes up, her solely responsibility was to just make sure that she doesn't get a seizure and falls down. By 2013, my sister was getting seizures after every 20 minutes.
He has been involved in a number of epilepsy awareness challenges, among them the Epilepsy Awareness Expedition in 2018, where he walked from Nairobi to Mombasa, covering 482 kilometers in 12 days. And in 2020, the Mount Kilimanjaro Challenge, where he and his team cycled from Nairobi, Kenya to Arusha, Tanzania. Here, he climbed to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro and planted the epilepsy flag with the message, "Epilepsy is manageable."
This year, we also did another expedition, and it was cycling for 4 days and climbing Mount Kilimanjaro for 7 days. So for the cycling, quite a challenge, again, for the same reason why we keep coming up with ideas that are more challenging, is because it's not that people have not cycled before. It's not that we were the first people to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, but the more you make an activity more challenging and mind-blowing, the more it attracts attention. So people's attention is drawn by who are these people who are cycling and climbing. And so when they seek to know that, we use that now as a platform to tell them the reason why we are cycling and climbing. So it was a wonderful experience. It had a fair share of its own challenges, but we were so much prepared because we took time to prepare for the whole expedition.
There are a number of myths and misconceptions surrounding epilepsy. Dealing with epilepsy can prove to be difficult for both the persons with the condition as well as the caregivers.
Okay, at first, in 2012, it was my mother who was told I have epilepsy, but she did not tell me until 2014 when I was informed too. And she is actually not the one who told me, it was the doctor. So my parents really had not accepted I had epilepsy, since no one else in the family had ever had epilepsy. There was no history, so it was really tough for them at first. And luckily they accepted and journeyed together with me.
The first time my parents realized I have epilepsy, it took me like 2 years for them to understand and for me to understand. So they didn't want anyone else to know that my son has epilepsy. So they kept it by themselves. And I was told, like, don't keep sharing that you have epilepsy. So it was like, there was fear that when the village members or the friends know that this son has epilepsy, the whole family now will be related with witchcraft. They were saying he need a familia kifafa. So I could not share with anyone that I have epilepsy. And my parents too could not share.
Not only do we have different triggering factors, but also types of epilepsy, not so well known to the public.
Epilepsy is a condition that can affect anyone at any age, considering the causes. Some of the causes includes head injuries. Remember, it's a brain disorder. So anything that affects the brain in one way or another could make someone get epilepsy. Cerebral malaria, accidents, stroke, abusive of alcohol and drugs over a prolonged period of time, and brain tumors. There are various attacks. There are those people who only get attacks when they're asleep. As Eric said, he only gets attacks at night, what we call nocturnal seizures. Other than that, we have the generalized seizures, which affect the whole brain, and there are those partial seizures, where a person may have a bit of sensation, but then may not be aware of the environment they are in, or their behavior may change without them realizing. So there are those attacks that manifest in various ways. We have the blank stares, where a person just stares in the space. Even if you hit that person or you call, for that few seconds or few minutes, the person may not respond. Then we have the tonic clonic, where a person's body involves jerking, that involves stiffening and relaxation of muscles, and a person may bite the tongue. And if the urine well was full, a person may urinate. Then there are those who only jerk on one side, whereby just one limb may just be shaking, and you talk to that person, or the person may not even be aware the limb is shaking. Then we have another type of epilepsy attack where the muscles just stiffen. The person becomes so stiff that even if you try to stretch that person during that moment of attack, the person will not, and you may even end up hurting that person. Remember, it's a condition where a person experiences an attack, sensation, awareness, and behavior totally changes.
Fortunately, there is now light at the end of the tunnel, since epilepsy has now been included in non-communicable diseases and has been included in the disability spectrum.
'Cause we're differently abled, differently.